Hello, beautiful people. Hello, beautiful Michelle. Are you frozen?
Oh, there
Oh,
we
there we
go.
go. Oh, there we
Okay.
go. All right. You froze with a beautiful smile on your face, actually.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. I got to psych myself up here, guys, for this one. Because Michelle Gray, by the way, whose contact information is in the description box, we'll also put on the splash screen, will, with the help of my son, Erik Medhus, channel Paramahansa Yogananda. Oh, that wasn't that bad. So let me give you a little backstory on him. He was born January 5th, 1893, died March 7th, 1952. He was an Indian American Hindu monk, yogi, guru who introduced millions to meditation and Kriya Yoga through his organization, Self Realization Fellowship, SRF, Yagoda Satsanga Society, YSS, of India. His long-standing influence on the American yoga movement, and especially the yoga culture of Los Angeles, led him to be considered by yoga experts as the father of yoga in the West. Oh, that's who he is. That's
Mhm.
cool. So, Mr. Yogananda, hello, welcome. And Erik, hello. I love you. And hello, Michelle Gray. I love you too.
I love you too. Eric says, I love you, Mom. I want to explain because I've never channeled, I'm going to say Yogananda because I'm going to
Yeah, let's not go
demolish the
to
first name.
oh God, Mr. Y, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. PY.
So I have not connected with him before. And Eric, how I'm perceiving him right now, and Eric is going to help me with translation, but his energy came in almost like an unfolding. So I could feel a lot of warmth, and the warmth just kept building and building and building. And how I'm seeing him is in light. It looks like yellow light
Wow.
and like a cloud, that kind of energy in my third eye. So Eric's going to help translate some of it with me and help hold this energy because it's quite a strong energy.
I bet.
Okay. He says, "Thank you for having him.
It's an honor.
He's
Thank you.
he he is very pleased to be here with your son." He says, he also calls him a friend and a brother, and he is looking forward to sharing a conversation and to enlighten anyone who is willing to receive his message.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. It's certainly an honor. I just started really being committed to meditation, so um, hopefully it works out. All right, because my squirrel brain. All right, Mr. Yogananda, would you say that you truly gained enlightenment and broke the reincarnation cycle in your lifetime? Hmm. These are all wonderful questions from our wonderful community, people.
So he says he is in body currently here on Earth. Um, he says it depends on the perception that you would like to take with that question. He would like to say that he reached a form of God actualization, of God realization. There is always opportunity to further enlighten oneself, and his purpose for coming back onto the earth as a fractal of his soul is to bring the oneness of many masters, of many enlightened beings, to bring it in at what we would consider our current times right now.
Well, we need it. So, can you explain that further? Are you a fractal? Are you in a body as a fractal of many masters and enlightened beings? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he says that he is part of what we would consider many masters that have walked the earth, that have brought forward the example of God realization had brought
Okay.
forward information that is here to help awaken us to divine love, to divine purpose. He is saying that it is a pleasure to be able to experience embodiment, to bring forward this information. Many of us that you consider, and he says, a spiritual master. I keep going to leader, and he doesn't want me to use the word leader, but a spiritual master are also embodied. He says parts of the whole embodied into a physical form.
Are you somebody well known? You must be about my age or younger.
He's saying that okay, it's an adolescent that he's in body, male. He's saying that the family, they do know who he is because he is a teacher that has memory. So
Mm.
he's saying that in the community, and he's pointing to the East, in the community, he is known, known that he is working through this body, this boy.
Wow. Okay. So where are you? India, China, Singapore, East Coast of the US, more or less.
Um, East, like okay, like Tibet,
Oh,
over in
something
that
more on there.
area.
Okay. All right. All right. Nepal. Are you the what do you call that? When the little boy and the oh, that's okay. The chosen one. I can't remember. Okay. I have seen pictures of you totally blissed out in meditation. I believe you are immersed with source at that point. What do you see, hear, and feel when you are in that state of bliss during meditation?
He says that he will speak from his point of perspective, as many do, feel the bliss, the connection as very personal. However, what is seen depends on the experiencer. He says that his moments of bliss were nature. He's saying sounds and feelings of being immersed in nature. He says he's showing me going through a portal of light, um, going through the third eye to a portal of light, where he says it is an encompassing of love and an encompassing of
Mm.
seeing light. Sometimes he says he stood before ones that we would know, many masters, those in spirit that would help support him through his journey, and he experienced other realities, is how
Mm.
he'll explain it.
What do you have for people like me who are trying to, engage in the practice of meditation? Like, what's our biggest, not mistake? I don't want to call it that, but just whatever advice you have is very, we're grateful for.
He says that it is a natural of the human mind that is brought into the world. It is natural to go through the experience of distraction. So to think of it as any practice, whereas if you were learning to play the violin, if you are learning to play the piano, it is the consistency of allowing yourself to sit in a state. At first, it is a following of the thought. This is a practice of being able to take all that is in resistance, your thoughts, the itch on your shoulder, the distraction in your mind, something you are hearing on the outside. It is training your perception to sit in the energy of God. And that God realization will become stronger as you consistently practice. So, the most important thing that I can tell you at this time is to be able to practice. Think of the master that is learning to play the piano. It is not a big deal to have several hours a week to be sitting at the piano to learn something absolutely beautiful and harmonic. And so as you sit, you are sitting in harmony. You are sitting in God's music.
Mm.
So can you sit in that present consistently each day? And can you tell your mind, this is the music of my soul? This is who I really am. And many people do not understand what it is that they are reaching for. What will this look like? And so taking all perceptions away of what this needs to be and sitting with the knowing, because first comes trust. I trust that if I sit and continuously do this, it will lead me to another connection, a deeper connection of God.
Okay. I remember the first and only time I've done yoga. Oh, there's Maria. The dogs are gonna be barking. I remember just sobbing. It just plunged me into deep grief. What's that all about?
He says that the movement of the body is to help release. He says trapped energy. So where there is any trapped energy in the body, he says kundalini, moving the chakras. So yoga helps the body be able to purge. It
Okay.
helps the body be able to clear. It is important that clarity, cleaning happens first to be able to have actualization.
Okay. Uh, did you have a shared fractal with Jesus? Your mission? Why? Okay, well, we'll do that first.
Indeed, I did.
Why were you chosen for this life, and or was it purely your intention? So I guess talk about the fractal with Jesus. Why you were chosen for this life, or was it free will that you incarnate in that life?
It was a accumulation of interest from a soul perspective to be able to have the process of realization and to be able to change the relationship with the self and lead that by example. So there were many different reasons why coming into the body at this time took place, in also a preparation for coming times on the earth. Much like Jesus and others alike, this is a process of being able to share what is possible from the human perspective.
Mm, beautiful. You wrote that Jesus studied in India for 16 years. Do you stand by that 16 years, or is it slightly less or more?
15 to 16 years is accurate.
Okay. What did he study? Did he study meditation, or what? Or many things? I'm sure.
It was a combination of many different practices, meditation being a great part of that, but the culture of being able to understand the processes of the body, the scientific processes of the body, and how all spirituality is also scientific,
I
and
agree.
taking that information and then sharing that outwards.
Yeah. When we interviewed Jesus, and y'all could find it in the Channeling Erik YouTube channel, it was really interesting because he said he didn't really die on the cross, but he learned from maybe people in India, the yogis, or I can't remember, how to lower his pulse and respiratory rate so that it seemed like he was dead, but he really wasn't. So they entombed him, but then he got out and left for the south of France, which is what I would have done. What do you say about that?
That is correct.
Did he
That
learn
is
that in
correct.
India? Because
Yes.
now they see evidence of his continued existence with Mary, had some kids, some died, etc. in France.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. So what do you say about that? That totally debunks the whole reason for Christianity. He died on the cross for our sins. I guess it could be at least he suffered for our sins. You could twist the perception to that, but wow.
Yes, that is correct. And perception is something that is part of the human experience to be able
Yeah.
to work through perception. However, there is a great deal of history from Jesus's incarnation. There is a missing section for his studies, his practices that have been removed by human condition.
Oh, what do you mean human condition?
The control of wanting to narrate the story that took
Oh,
place.
oh, yeah, yeah. All right. Part of controlling the minds of the masses, I guess. You will believe what I want you to believe. Okay. What were your past lives like, and how many did you have? And what past life influenced your lifetime as Yogananda? I loved it. I love your name. It's so musical. So,
And music is the vibration. Music is the vibration that carries our soul throughout the universe. And as many incarnations that I had, I would say that all of them have played part into this last incarnation, whereas choosing one and solely one would not be an accurate depiction. However, my favorite incarnations were truly the ones as many animals and many different types of insects, where I was able to learn about patience, where I was able to learn trust, where I was able to learn about the wild experience of nature.
yeah. Your ashrams are in the most beautiful natural locations. Did you choose them, or did those locations call out to you?
Well, this question could also be related to the common term, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Mm,
And so, did they call to me? Yes. Did I choose them? Yes. In my human form, I would say that they called to me and I answered the call.
okay. According to your disciple Dayamata, on the day of your death, just before the dinner, you told him, "Do you realize that it's just a matter of hours and I will be gone from this earth?" The medical verdict was acute coronary occlusion, heart attack. According to other accounts, self-realization disciples claimed that you entered Mahasamadhi, a yogi's conscious exit from the body. Can you elaborate? I guess it
This
could be
was
both.
a point in time, my human time, where it was my choice to be able to leave. It was my choice to be able to emerge myself from the physical body. And so many look for explanation for there has to be some
Yeah.
way that something has happened to take me away. However, this is again an example of the possibilities with our human bodies, our condition when they become actualized in God, when they become connected with God, we can leave in unison with God, with awareness.
Right. So, what do you think about Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's transcendental meditation technique? You know, my sister, when I was a teenager, took my older sister had my entire family go to something like this. I can't believe my parents agreed to it. So that's a story unto itself. But so, what do you think about transcendental meditation?
Like all practices, they all have a purpose in the time that they are presented. And if one is called to that form of practice, then that is a gateway to being able to go deeper within the self. Um, this is nor a like or a dislike. Are you pulled to it? Are you drawn to it? Is it something that speaks to you to allow you to reach your true self?
All right. So there's just different techniques, and right, whatever you seem drawn to, the chemistry seems right. Go for it.
Yes.
All right, what are your thoughts on positive extraterrestrial contact and multiple dimensional beings in the mass human collective at this time, sir? And how ready are they for full first contact?
As a collective, although many feel that they are ready for the kind of contact that they are desiring or that they are wishing for, as a collective, we are somewhat off of the mark for being able to accept the true contact that this person is describing. There are many contacts that are already taking place on a individual and some in a group form. This is another progression to a type of being very similar to the human being that has a ability to help evolve human consciousness. However, there is still so much clearing that needs to be taken
Oh, God, yeah.
place for this to be a very positive and enlightening experience.
Okay. You know, I saw during the TikTok, I think it was, maybe it's a reel on Instagram. Somebody was filming the eclipse that we had, and you see this bullet-like thing cross like like a UFO, and you know, an extraterrestrial aircraft. Was that the case, or was it a deep fake AI type? The guy seen several of the people looking were like freaking out.
There were several that have caught an image of extraterrestrial activity. There are portals that are open, and the amount of vibration at that time, the strength of focus from the human collective in combination with the changes happening in the cosmos would tell us that that was a real incident.
Cool. Did you connect with George Harrison when he crossed over? I mean, apparently your teachings had an enormous impact on particularly George Harrison.
Yes, indeed, I did.
Oh, wow. Tell me about that meeting.
Well, many would wonder if there was music involved. So that answer is yes.
Oh, yeah.
Music was involved. Um, the soul of George Harrison, the spirit of George Harrison is also a teacher, is also one that spreads a frequency that continues to permeate in the existence that you know as your collective on Earth. And we are so grateful for his service, and our time together here is of pure bliss. George is also part of our collective, part of our soul collective. And as he's showing me this, when he says collective, he's showing me almost like God in cells. And it's often how they do show it, but he shows it as George Harrison being a part of a leadership, a collective of souls that is here for a form of enlightenment. But what he's saying is they all come in different ways. So not all come with the leading of spiritual teaching. They
Yeah.
come in so many different forms, and he was bringing that energy forward in this lifetime and continues to do so from the afterlife.
Okay. Interesting. Let's make this the last question for part one, and then we'll have part two. Is it true that you have been reborn as Swami Jeevan, Jeevan, Vartman in the present time? I'm trying to look him up.
The way that he's saying it is that there is a working through, but he's not showing this as a full incarnation.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. All right, that's it for part one. You guys hit the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss part two. And again, check out Michelle Gray in the description box below and on the splash screen. So we will connect in just a moment. If I can figure out how to stop recording.